I saw the new Superman movie that just came out this weekend, and I wanted to share just some thoughts with you as a Catholic priest. Many years ago, I began writing reviews of film, and it's so interesting to see how that's evolved over the years. And it all started with Oz the Great and Powerful that was in theaters, and just seeing a lot of different biblical images in that movie. One of my most favorite pieces that I wrote, which is part of this comic series of films, is Wonder Woman. I saw Wonder Woman. I wrote an article called The Virgin Mary, the Real Wonder Woman. It was well read back in the day when it was published. And, watching Superman, I could say the same thing to you that I wrote a long time ago about the Blessed Virgin Mary being the real Wonder Woman. Let me tell you, Jesus Christ is the real Superman. Now, that might sound odd, might sound weird, but let me explain a little bit what I mean by that. So Jesus is the real Superman. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not a big comic book guy, movie. I don't follow Marvel or DC Comics or anything. But Superman is one that has been a part of my life from my youth. Because on TNT, that television network back in the day, wasn't there a show, an episodic show called Lois and Clark? And that was my first introduction personally to Superman. I didn't read the comic books, didn't see all the animated or anything like that, but I've seen Superman over the years and have been intrigued by him. And so that's why I was interested in seeing Superman, of course, now doing a lot of different movie reactions and critiques. It just seemed like a good idea to go see Superman. What could I say from a faith perspective? And that's why you're tuning in. So Jesus is the real Superman. Now, the story of Superman is that my understanding from the movie and in general is that, he's kind of sent to Earth. He's from another planet. Parents can't take care of him, or they just send him. And so he's like part alien, if you will. Not really, but, that's how people begin referring to him in the movie. But, and then part man. Now, Jesus, he is fully God. He is a divine person. But we believe that Jesus has both a human nature and a divine nature. And so kind of just a little bit even with the sense of that, you see a little parallel. What I see in Superman and what I saw in Wonder Woman and Oz the Great and Powerful back in the day are just these little seeds that when you look at a movie, when you read a book even, like you can see some semblances of the scriptures, of the gospel in these things. It's really the main story, and everything else kind of rips a little bit from the scriptures, whether they realize it or not. That's the eternal truth of the scriptures. So the other seeds of Jesus, so again, just go back to that. The idea that the mother and the father send Jesus to earth. Send Superman, to earth, and he's raised by this family in Kansas and all of that. That's Jesus, co-eternal with the Father, part of the divine Trinity, the Holy Trinity, becomes incarnate of the Virgin Mary, is born of Mary. Now, Clark Kent, Superman, isn't born of the people that raised him, but they receive this child. So there's something there, maybe. But, just another reality, too, is that Superman says he came to serve humanity and to make the world a better place. Well, Jesus, he comes as the servant of all. And truly, by his teachings, by his works, he's made the world a better place. So, again, a little parallel. But, the most powerful, the most striking parallel that I saw between the Lord and between Superman in the movie was the betrayal. So Jesus is betrayed by Judas. And so he's betrayed by, in a sense, the apostles. And you have, because they're not there at the crucifixion, all of these people, the thousands of people that followed Jesus, that saw his miracles, where were they? When people were yelling, crucify him, where were they? They didn't rise up for the Lord at that moment? Well, Superman, people begin turning on him. This false story is being broadcasted in the media. And so people turn on Superman. They thought he was a great guy. They thought he was doing all these wonderful things. But then this false story that's being circulated. Well, then they turn their backs on him. Well, isn't that the betrayal of Superman? And Jesus was betrayed like that. And then you have you have the arrest. So Jesus is arrested. Superman is arrested. And then as Superman is in his little cell, if you will, there's kryptonite in there. This is the scourging of Superman. You see how Superman is inflicted with pain and all that. So it's kind of the passion of Superman. And I won't tell you anymore because I don't want to give away the story, but you kind of see how that parallels, how that goes along. And then, you have, there's a moment where they say, here come the raptors. And the raptors would be evil spirits. They'd be the demons or whatever. And then you have the Justice League. You have the other superheroes who are out there battling and fighting and everything like that. And they come. So it's like the battle between good and evil. It's angels maybe, and the demons and all that. And so you see kind of the battle between good and evil. If you love Superman, and if you love these stories, there's kernels, there's seeds of truth and of scripture in them. I saw it, and hopefully if you go see Superman, you'll see it too.